Okay, hello everyone. I am here to do a brief demo of the Deephaven Excel add-in for Enterprise. What you see on your screen here is I got Excel going, and I have a little control panel for my Deephaven VM. My PQs are stopped right now, so I'm going to start them. This is all for This is all for verisimilitude. Let's see if I can bring that to the top. Okay, good. So my PQs, I've got a PQ called Zamboni1, and I have two tables in it. One is, as you can see here, it's a table, a fixed table of size 10 rows, and then I've got a timetable that grows every every tenth of a second, and it adds 3 columns. You can see that there. It adds a column name, and then it'll have a third column, which is the timestamp. And I'm taking the tail, 50,000 rows of the tail. All right, I should start that. It's already saved. Start. Let's see what happens if I start this. If this takes too long to get going, I might clip it out of the video. But in the meantime, I will go over here to Excel and bring that to the front. Now, interestingly, I was able to, this may not persist to the final version, but I was able to reuse the same code and interface as before. So these formulas actually don't care whether they're connecting to Core or Core Plus. So I will say something like Deephaven snapshot table T1. And it's like, oh, not connected to Deephaven. And so then I will go to my add-ins menu. Can you see that? Good. And then connect to Deephaven. That's my old menu from before. Connect to Deephaven Core or reconnect. Now I've got connect to Deephaven Enterprise, which is this new dialog box. Okay, and then it's low tech. Forgive me for that. But here's your JSON URL, which is the usual stuff, the name of my VM and so on, my very secure username and password, and here I've named the persistent query. This is just, this isn't going to be the final UI or anything, but here if I connect to Deephaven and I connect to a specific PQ, then I can just access tables within that PQ just with the same interface that I would have been using with Core. So, remember that our Excel, our Excel formula just said access table T1. It doesn't really mention a PQ here. So that's all happening. The PQ that I'm using is being mentioned in this dialog box, if that makes sense. So I'm going to click this Connect to Deephaven Enterprise, and you can see I'm getting a little snapshotting T1 and get connected. Oh, look, and there's my table. So now that it's connected, I could Deephaven snapshot again to T1, but I could say, oh, I want the table headers. So I get the table header is only called call or column, and then I can snapshot T2. T2, I'll say true again. And that was the larger table. That was the one with 50,000 rows. Well, that's the dynamic table that's growing to 50,000 rows. Let's see where it is now. Beep, 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 beep. And looks like it's at 1,321 rows only. And let me go back to the top here. And then let's subscribe to it. This is the same entry point that I used before in Core. T2, true for getting column headers. Subscribe. And then hopefully what we will see is if we scroll to the bottom. Oops, I should not have resized it because I might mess up my little vidya. But anyway, scroll to the bottom. That's what I meant to do. Yeah, look at that. So every it's configured a tenth of a second, I think. So I should be getting about 10 rows a second, up to a maximum of 50,000. And Excel can support a lot more. It's just that what I decided to do for this demo. And so let's see. And so it is relatively robust to disconnects. So what I mean to say is, let me go over to my other window here, and let's just like suddenly stop the PQ. Oops. Suddenly stop the PQ. Bing. Yes. And then see, I mean, these tables, oh, let me go back. So these tables were static, of course, so there's data is still there, but you can see the subscribe one immediately got an error back. It's just happening to printing out the direct exception that I got from C++. Not the world's most friendly thing, but you know, it kind of is what it is. So, and then if I were to do new snapshots, it would hopefully show those errors. The snapshots have not changed because they are snapshots. They are static. Ooh, my timer's going off. But the reason it's looking like that is because they're cached. If I were to delete all references in my spreadsheet to T1 and then say Deephaven snapshot T1, I would hopefully get an error. Yeah. So there's a. Oh, I'm going to turn off my timer. I'm going to cut this part out. So, you know, the messages, the error messages leave something to be desired, but you can tell that, you know, it does know when there's an error. But the point is, let us say I go back to my PQ and I turn it back on. Let's do that. Oops. Then I go turn it on again. Start. Once that's going, okay, that's running. So once that's going, and I reconnect to Deephaven Enterprise like this, those formulas, oh yeah, see they got, they had a little status message for a second, and now they are back. And so presumably, scrolling to the bottom here, this should have picked up where it left off. I can find the end of it. Oh, no, not picked up where, and I started the PQ over, sorry. So now it's winking in those values again. Anyway, Deephaven Enterprise.